Hello there and welcome to this video series on control systems. As a quick review, we recall that system is a collection of components and or subsystems so arranged as to serve a purpose. And also we have seen that systems typically have a controlled variable on which we would like to focus. And we have also noticed that each subsystem may have a purpose and a controlled variable. With that, we'll see the outcomes of this video, which are that after watching this video, you will be able to define what is broadly control and kind of represent the system as a block diagram, like in the case of a black box, and also specify what is manipulated variable. To discuss what we mean by control, let us consider the example of a ceiling fan system. You have a ceiling fan and you want to run it at different speeds. That is, let us say that the controlled variable is the speed. Sometimes we want to run it fast, other times we want to run it slow. To achieve this, we use a regulator to set the value of the controlled variable. This is very familiar picture to us. You turn the regulator either in the increasing way or in the decreasing way, and correspondingly the speed of the fan changes. There is no direct connection shown here, but you need to assume that there are wires connecting the regulator to the fan. With this situation, we see that when we change this regulator setting, this regulator sends current into the fan and the current makes the fan turn. The more is the current, the more will be the speed of the fan. Once again, we see that when you turn the regulator to change the desired speed of the fan, each reading on the regulator corresponds to one speed, and corresponding to that setting, some current goes in to the fan. That is, when you turn this knob, current goes through the fan, and when current goes through, the fan speed changes. The more the current, the more is the speed. To generalize and also to pictorially represent the situation, we use what we call a block diagram and try to see what we mean by control. We say that the regulator sets the desired speed. Though we say it's the regulator that sets, it's actually a human operator who will turn the regulator to set the desired speed. We say that regulator is represented as a black box. We want to hide all the details inside. And then similarly, ceiling fan also as a black box, like rectangular blocks, because this is a rectangular block, this is a rectangular block. That is the reason why we call it block diagram. Okay. You see that when you change the setting, which is the input to the regulator, current changes, and when current changes, the speed changes. In this context, we call this setting as the reference speed. The current that is going into the ceiling fan is what we call the manipulated variable, and speed is what we call the controlled variable. So you have reference variable, manipulated variable, controlled variable. So this manipulated variable directly affects the control variable. So manipulated variable is that variable which can directly change the controlled variable. The controlled variable in this case is speed. Manipulated variable is current. So when current changes, speed changes. Now we can combine the two block diagrams into one single picture as shown here. Speed setting, then current, then the actual speed. Let me once again show the variables here. You call this as the reference speed, this as the manipulated variable, this as the controlled variable. To change the speed, we'll change the speed setting. That changes the current. That makes the fan run at a different speed. We'll see another example, namely that of a refrigerator. Well, this is not exactly the block diagram of the refrigerator. As an example I'm drawing, if really the refrigerator runs in this open loop, nobody would want to buy it. Okay. In refrigerator, just like regulator, you have a thermostat. When you turn the thermostat, more refrigerant or less refrigerant circulates through the fridge, through the evaporator, and thus the temperature changes. So this we can show as a block diagram as shown in the next page. It's important to note that the thermostat is actually inside the fridge. So the block diagram, we can draw it as you have a required temperature. To change the required temperature, you change the thermostat. Then, to set the required temperature, you change the thermostat setting, and then the refrigerant, depending on the setting, refrigerant circulates through, and the temperature inside the fridge changes. Okay. Again, note that no modern refrigerator works in this way. There is what we call a feedback path. We will try to see what is that feedback path in the subsequent videos. Again, you see that you have a reference temperature, a manipulated variable, and then a controlled variable. So here it is required temperature, and it is temperature that is actually inside the fridge. So in summary, control broadly means exerting influence on the system to make it behave the way we want. Okay, the requirement is specified by human being and is specified as reference input. The desired behavior is obtained through manipulated variable. The fan regulator and the thermostat put together may be broadly termed as the controller. That's all we have for now. Have a great day.